Alrighty, welcome back. You've got Mike Hoeflich, Mike Sperrazza in studio this week. Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle. Well-deserved time off. If you're just tuning in, this is the Financial Guys Radio Network, and we're a bit fired up today, admittedly.
I don't know how you're not, right? I don't know at this point why if you're not fired up. What's it going to take you to get fired up?
That's a great question, and this is what I think, and we're going to get right back to our friend and our special guest, Robby Dinero. I think what happens, at least for me, is I'm really busy.
Right.
I'm a busy professional. I'm a busy husband. I'm a busy father. I'm a busy uncle. I'm busy for my friends.
Yep.
And I think we all get caught up if we're not, like, I guess I'll say directly impacted. Like our friend Robby Dinero. He is directly impacted by these shutdowns, meaning he will not get paid. He will not be able to make a living if he is shut down.
But I think that goes back to what I was saying. That's why it drives me insane. I can only imagine how it feels for somebody whose business is being taken. Because, you spend every day, hour, month, year working towards your business, and it just gets swiped from you in seconds, right? Because of someone that thinks he knows better than we do.
Exactly. And we have a lot of people who think they know better than us. We're going to hear right now from Robby Dinero. Robby, you're on with us. First of all, thank you. I mean, I don't even know how to say it except thank you for being such a leader and standing up. You've been in the news maybe the past 4 to 6 months as this whole mess has unfolded. Yesterday reached sort of another tipping point, we'll say. Can you give us a sense of when you were even told that maybe these changing of clusters and colors and all that was going to happen?
Sure. I think along with everybody else, about a week ago, we were being told that there's going to be these clusters and be prepared to be shut down if it doesn't come from yellow down to orange.
And did you know what that would mean for your business, like the yellow phase? You were working in the yellow zone. Tell us what yellow zone meant for your business.
It meant that Cuomo was allowing me to continue to work to support his salary.
Well said. So going to orange, what would that mean for you?
He was going to decide which businesses. He was going to pick the winners and the losers. And big business would be able to stay open. Small business would have to close, specifically gyms, boutique shops, anything non-essential. They would have to close because he decided the corona is most deadly in boutique shops and mom-and-pop shops and red-blooded American shops as opposed to giant stores like Walmart, Wegmans, Target, OTB, off-track betting, stations, you name it. Can't get corona there, just in the small shops.
Right. And I'll tell you this. I have an experience. You might know a guy named Ben Woods. Ben is the owner of STA Sports Training up in Elma. You ever meet Ben? You likely have, in the same kind of business, right? Ben told me that he had 4,000 check-ins into his facility over the last, say, I don't know the precise number, but let's say 4 to 6 months. Not one COVID case. Not one. 4,000 check-ins to a facility. I'll think it's similar to your Athletes Unleashed place. And it's the cleanest place I've ever been in. I mean, you have people abiding by the mask rules, the social distancing rules, wiping everything down, and not one case of COVID in 4,000 check-ins to his facility. Have you had the same experience?
I have no. I've had nobody catch corona out of my place. I don't require people to wear masks. I have about a 7,500 square foot facility. I cap the occupancy to 25 people, though the health department says I can have 45. I keep my classes to 25. I keep the doors open, and we've had no issues, and it's by far the cleanest place you'll ever see. You can wipe at any time. You can walk into my gym, wipe your hands along the floor; they will come up clean.
Knowing what you were hearing about the yellow zone into the orange zone, can you go into yesterday's events? We have a lot of people texting. What happened? What was the incident that took place? Can you give us like all the details of yesterday's events?
And Robby, we got to hear it from you because we know it's not going to be shown the way it really was anywhere else in the media. We know that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. So yes, but I want to point out something. Two things before I get into that. One, you're saying, gentlemen, I agree with you. Hey, you're fed up. You're done. I've got the answer. I've got an opportunity for people that are done. It's easy to say I'm done. So then what's next?
Yep.
Next is action, and I have action.
Let's hear it, pal.
Number two, everybody, isn't it convenient that those people that are telling us we have to shut down and telling my fellow business owners, we're not allowed to make money. It's easy to do because they're living on the public dole.
Yep.
So none of them have to give up their income. They just want me to give up my income. It's very convenient that those who demand we give up our income get to keep theirs.
Yep.
It should be much more palatable if Governor Cuomo gave up his income, if the health inspector gave up her income. But she's making about $100,000 in overtime right now, so she's not going to give hers up. She just wants me to give mine up.
Those are great points, no doubt about it.
We had we were told we had to shut down, and so I decided to have a protest. I put it on Facebook. Come on to my gym at 3646 California Road, and we are going to talk about and have a protest, and that's what we did. I got a bunch of incredibly brave, patriotic business owners that have been shut down, and folks that don't have business but support what we were doing to come in and join our protest being held on my private property at my private business after hours. I was no longer operating the business. I wasn't running a class. We were having a protest. 20 minutes into the protest, a woman from the health department showed up with what appears to be 3 sheriffs. They were all in plain clothes. 2 of the sheriffs, or 2 that claimed to be sheriffs, their bulletproof vests on and their sidearms. One of them did not appear to be armed. And one of my fellow patriots said, "Hey, Robby, the cops are here. What do you want us to do about it?" And I said, "Get rid of them." And I was able to continue running the protest. And the other brave souls that were with me went ahead and took care of the sheriffs and forced them out of my building and forced them off my property to the road. If they were in the right, if they had the right to be there, they wouldn't have left. They would have called up backup. They knew they were wrong. We asked numerous times, tell us what law we're breaking. Tell us under what authority you're here. They couldn't produce a warrant. They couldn't levy a charge. The health department official couldn't levy anything. They left. If they were in the right, they would have stayed. They left because they know they were trespassing.
Right. And so they didn't produce a warrant. They didn't tell you, hey, we're coming in. We have a suspicion of you breaking a certain law. Did they do that? They just wanted to come in and break up your protest.
They said there was an anonymous tip that we were doing something wrong here. Now, I have no windows they cannot see through any windows in my building. There was no hey, open to the public sign. They parked out in the street because they knew they weren't allowed on my property, and then they walked through the door.
Right. And let me get this straight. So any other protest, nothing to see here, but something that you have, all of a sudden we have an issue. Is that what we're getting at here?
Correct. If this was any other protest in Buffalo, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, any of the violent crazy protests that were going on, any of the debauchery and
violence. I mean, just sheer violence.
Right. It's absolutely allowed. But I have a peaceful protest of patriots, and they tried to shut it down with the health department. Now we got to concede that because our damn legislature gave Cuomo unprecedented powers for a year,
right,
the health department definitely does have. It's unclear because there's been no case law, but the health department does appear to have vast authority under like pandemic emergency actions procedures. But because there's no case law on it, it's really unclear what the health department can do. So I'm not arguing whether or not the health department should have been there.
Right.
I'm arguing she should not have been able to walk in without knocking on the door and asking permission. And the sheriffs that were there certainly had no right to be there, and they knew that. That's why they left. So they got chased off.
Right. Well, on the note of the unprecedented power that our governor has taken over and will not give back, we also have a guest later in the show, Buffalo attorney James Ostrowski, to give us an update on the lawsuits that are in part sponsored by the financial guys, Mike Lomas and Glenn Wiggle. So Robby, what is next? What's next in terms of the official, use of your facility, the actual training of people and fitness training and so forth? What's next for you in terms of just continuing to be a leader of this resistance?
Oh, unfortunately, they have incredible amounts of power, and the business that they chose to shut down, most of them need licenses given by the state. They'll pull those licenses. So if we're operating, they're going to pull our licenses, and it will be months and months before we're able to provide for our families. They'll cut our power. They've already told me this. They take our certificates of occupancies. They'll revoke licenses. Even if we are vindicated in a court of law, we will be months and months and months without work. So what we are doing is protest. I organized a protest last night at my place of business.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? They decided to mess with the Marine, and that's a different breed of animal that they're messing with, and they are going to see protests like they have never seen before in Western New York. I've already got an incredible organization of people who are ready to roll when the mission orders come down. It's not going to be announced. It's not going to be announced beforehand. Loose lips aren't sinking these ships. You are going to see protests in a way that has never been done in Western New York, because we are going to win this in the court of public opinion. This will never be won in a court. God bless Jim Ostrowski and everybody else.
Right.
How many months has it been? And business owners aren't any better off.
Right.
The people that are better off are lawyers with their fat pockets. That's it.
Yep, but not business owners like you, not people that are actually probably the most equipped to keep their facilities safe. Mike and I, we were talking earlier, Mike Sperrazza here and I said that they're not taking care of the most vulnerable by putting these big blanket regulations on everybody. It's like saying, hey, 75-year-old, that you might have diabetes, maybe you had heart disease, maybe you fought off cancer 3 times. We're saying as long as you wear a mask and social distance, you can go out and do all your errands all week long. That's almost effectively what we're saying, because if we don't treat those most vulnerable differently, you treat everyone the same, then the kids who are highly unlikely to have any issues with COVID, they're being told to do the same things. And it's giving people this false impression that, hey, if you really are vulnerable, you could run into issues. And that's what really bothers me. The people early on in this crisis, the nursing home and assisted living residents that really were not fully protected. It's like the governor thinks, oh, well, now if I shut everything down, I can make up for all those lives that were lost.
And also, too, Robby, this obviously you would agree with, going to the gym and working out and getting daily exercise is not only good for your physical body, but your mental as well, right? Like, and now we're just taking that away like, oh, it's no big deal. We'll just shut them down. It's a super spreader, right? That's a major problem, too. Not only physically, but mentally, it's an issue to close down gyms.
It certainly is. This is a huge part of people's lives. Your physical well-being is directly correlated to your mental well-being. You can't be mentally fit without being physically fit, and vice versa. They are inextricably tied together, for sure.
Boy, oh boy. Well, thank you, Robby Dinero.
Keep the fight. Keep the fight.
Keep it up. Thank you for being one of our leaders, and I think many of us are super inspired to not just listen, but we're also, as you said, it's time for action, and we're ready to step up with you.
And folks, check out the video again on our Facebook, too.
Absolutely.
Take a look at what he went through last night.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Again, thanks again, Robby Dinero, owner of Athletes Unleashed. Fighting the good fight, folks. Front line of the shutdown crisis. You just heard a real hero, a real patriot. Thanks again, Robby.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.